Here we go. My friend, thank you again for coming on the podcast. I know it's been over a year in the making and things happen. Life happens,
Yes.
But finally it's up and running
We're here
and I
now.
appreciate you coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for blessing me with your presence. I want to begin with the basics. Ubani Mpumelelo? Who are you? Sazise kwabantu.
Sanbonani. My name is Mpumelelo Phakathi, and a boy raised by 4 generations of women. So I've been blessed to know at least 4 generations of my maternal side. So it's my mother, my grandmother, my great-grandmother, and my great-grandmother. So Koko no Kokogas. And it is these women that have shaped my view, how I move around the world and who I am. So I'm born in KZN to a young teenage girl. And I am... Then I come to Joburg, I think I'm 5 years old.
Really?
Right. I come to Joburg, and my grandmother comes back from exile. And we all go and stay with her. And I think that's the woman that shaped me. Shaped me in terms of, while other kids were learning to recite the Bible, we were reciting the Freedom Charter and the Bill of Rights. We were told about our bodies. So on Sundays, we used to go to Shell House in Joburg. And so every day would be taught on, do not allow any uncle to touch you or any aunt to kiss you. So before leaving the house, we would have that. So that's the first woman to start to radicalize me in terms of my politics in the house. I grew up with my siblings. I go to school. In high school, I'm convinced that I want to become a doctor. Right? It's like, I want to become a doctor, medical doctor. And that dream does not come true. So I'm left in first year, and now, because I've changed, that I'm in social sciences, right? So I have to choose something to study. And I go to the social sciences and I choose development studies. Have no idea what it is. But growing up, I'd fallen in love with Kofi Annan, right? Kofi Annan was, I think he was the secretary, the whole idea that I can work with Kofi Annan. So then I come into social sciences, and a good blessing, because that's where I find myself. And so that's one of my favorite philosophers and theorists is Bell Hooks. And Bell Hooks says, she came into theory because she desperately needed to find herself. And that's what humanities or social sciences have been to me, a finding place. So I studied from undergrad till master's, right? That typical child, have no work experience. I'm like, I'm still studying. I study, and then I decide to go and work, right? Because I'm just like, okay, now it's time to work. I go and work, and then I decide to go back and pursue my PhD. But I come into my PhD, so normally when you come into academia, they say that you need to find a research gap and how you can expand the knowledge, right? And I thought to myself, I don't want to contribute to knowledge this time around. I've done
Postmasters.
Yes. So this like I've got my master's. I've worked a little bit. Now I'm going for my PhD. So I come to my PhD. I'm like, I need something that will serve me. I need something that will help find me. I need something that will serve me. And I dive into master's because I'm looking for myself. I'm into PhD because I'm looking for myself, and in theory and in these pages and in other men, I try and find. So my PhDs on masculinities and men. So I'm interested in the idea of fatherhood, what it means to be fathered. So I come into my PhD with that wound, the father wound, which I think a lot of us have.
Yeah, definitely.
I come in with my father wound, and I'm trying to see him. But I think the short end of it is that I grew up being loved. I think that's the one thing that like shines through in my childhood. When I look at my childhood photos, my grandmother took and my mother so many pictures of me, and I sit in that and I know that I'm loved. I grew up in love. I was nurtured in love, and now this is me.